Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert. So, since last episode, I have been busy working back here, as you can tell. I have cleaned up our farms. I've cleaned them up, and we've got rails, and we have grass, not glass. We have grass down through here, and it looks a little bit more vibrant. There's still a bit of work to do, because actually where these water pits are, I'm actually going to put pillars coming up. So the water is going to be hidden down beneath the pillars. And then the pillars are going to come up like they're supporting the, the roof of this structure. And then I've started working over here. This has been a pain because I decided I'm going to use teak wood. And then I decided I'm not going to use chisels and bits to make it go farther. I'm actually just going to use individual wood blocks so I get the nice grain, like directional grain and everything just right. And then I decided I'm going to use greatwood leaves. So that's another thing I've got to farm. And I'm having to deal with this water that's right on the other side of this wall that keeps wanting to rush in here. But I have been working on that, and this is actually probably going to change. I'm debating between a couple different ways I want to do the roof, so I was just kind of playing with stuff. Not 100% sure how, because I've got a couple ideas that I like for the roof, so, or the ceiling. So we'll see how it evolves. Now over here, I did automate a couple things, a couple additional things since the last episode. I went ahead and automated melons from melon blocks. Also vanilla and stock and oh, it's right here, yeah. This is pepper, making black pepper from peppercorn. I went ahead and automated that as well. So and then in addition, over here, I have started this, I've got to clean it up, but I did get this built. Basically, it is melons. Just all the way around, just melon crops. And I've got some lit redstone lamps from Quark up there. This is not going to stay cobblestone. I'm just kind of building and planning. Now, the reason I don't have melons down through here is because I discovered that the harvester actually harvests the melon stems. So anytime they reach mature growth, it will harvest them, and it'll give seeds. Melon seeds. So, instead, I've just placed them all around the edge, and then in the center here, I think what we're going to do is we're going to end up changing this over and doing either red orchids or ender lilies. Because I do want to get those planted, and then we'll do another one next to it that has pumpkins around the side, and do the other one. Okay, that's kind of what I'm thinking, because I am going to want quite a bit of the red orchids, quite a bit of ender lilies. I actually ran out of redstone between episodes, but that's because I haven't been really good about mining. I've got a lot of ores built up, but it's mainly been from clearing and stuff like that. I haven't been actually really mining a lot of redstone, so I had to go do a little quick mining trip. I also ran out of gold between episodes as well. So anyways, I've been working on that, and then I've also been prepping some stuff for this episode. We have, look at this, IC2 stuff in here, and we're going to be getting into all these blocks. We'll definitely be getting into these. And then we'll probably get into the ones down here as well, this episode as well. It just depends on where we get on time. We may finish it up next episode. But anyways, now that our farms are situated, I've been so ready to get back into IC2. Like, you guys don't even know. I've been so ready to get back into it, and it has come time. Now that our farms are kind of situated, we are ready to do this. So, and by the way, Deluxe Chicken Curry has been kicking away. We've got quite a few stacks of that at the moment built up. Of course, it's waiting on certain ingredients like coconut and things like that. But, well, actually, let me go see. I haven't looked to see how many we have lately. I know I gave away close to a stack to like people randomly. Let's see. We have 4 stacks of Deluxe Chicken Curry in here. A little over 4 stacks. I've also been eating some other foods. Building up our foods that we've eaten. Anyways, today what we're going to do is we are going to get into a new IC2 power source. A brand new one. It's super exciting. And what we're going to be going with is, actually, before we do this, let's go ahead and knock out one quest. We are going to get into solar panels later, but I don't want to get into them really heavily right now. There's a quest, though. If we take a look inside the quest book, there is a quest here for IC2 for solar panels, before we get into the semi-fluid generator. So let's go ahead and make one of these. I'm not going to really use it for anything at the moment. And that's due to the fact that by itself it only produces 1 EU per tick. And you either need to do really big solar arrays or do like compact solars. I mean, those are really good. We are going to get into those later, but not just yet. So let me go ahead and get 2 circuits. Oh, and I've got 10 running. I almost forgot about that. Let me toss in some coal there. Actually, that might be enough for right now. Maybe. I don't want to waste my ore if I can avoid it. So I'll just put that away for right now. I've actually got a lot more ore than that, too. I've got some downstairs and I've got some in a crate. I dump all my ores into a crate whenever I come in, and then I move the ores down here later on. So I've actually got a lot more than this, but I mean, look at all the coal ore just from the Silk Touch hammer. I mean, there's a ton of the stuff. Okay, so there's our generator, and there is our first solar panel. And quest complete. Okay. So let's turn this in, and we're going to take the first loot chest again. And let's see what we get. Do we get anything good from this? A hollow projector. Okay, I don't really have any use for that at the moment, in truth. And so that unlocks, or the next quest in that line is a semi-fluid generator. We will get into the projector, but not yet. Not yet. Okay, so the semi-fluid generator. That's what we're going to be working towards. And basically what the semi-fluid generator does is it takes fluids. And in this case, we're going to be going with biogas. This right here from IC2. And is it not... okay, it actually doesn't show how to make biogas, but I know how to make it, so... so what we're going to need to do, I've got some machines prepped up here, and I've got to figure out exactly where I want to have this set up and linked up to. The first machine, basically, that we're going to be using is the macerator. I think I'm going to put the biogas generation over here, and then I can just pump the biogas around to wherever it needs to go. I think is how I'm going to do it. We might do it this way, I think. Oh, nice. That's actually perfect, because our drawer network's right up there, because we're actually going to use the xnet controller that's down there. We're going to use that today. So let me go ahead and drop great wood right there. And let's see. Let me go ahead and just dig this out. I'm going to have to run some cables over. Oh wow, this turned out perfect. Because right here is our cable line. Alright, so I'm going to just run some xnet cables over. Okay, I will end up needing to make more of these, but this will be alright for right now. And then what we're going to do, actually, I'll tell you what, let me actually pull this up. I'll put that right back there. Okay. And then we're going to put down a connector right here, because there's not going to be anything that's connected up to xnet there. And then right over here, we're going to do connector setting right there, connector setting right there. And then we're going to place down our macerator setting right there. And just to make this a little bit easier on us, let me we're going to call this we'll just call this IC2, and then I'm going to make a mark down there at the controller just so I can teleport back and forth. I mean, I've got plenty of XP, I shouldn't be stingy with it, just to make setting all this up a little bit quicker for us. I have 4 network cables. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to make more network cables here in a minute. I'll cut in a bit, but and then we're going to say here, we're going to say controller. Okay. And the controller here, I'm going to go ahead and see, I'm going to grab some of these melons. I've got the melons automated for this very reason, in fact. And right here, we're going to say that, let's see, it'll be the channel 2. And we are going to create a channel. And we're going to whitelist melons. That's all we're going to do here. And let's warp back up to IC2. And, okay, it's got melons. Great. Now, this can't currently run, and that's because we don't have power to it. That's fine. We're going to take care of that in just a second. And then... I can't eat that. I'm just going to put it away in here. And then next up, let's go ahead and... Well, actually, let's go ahead and run some of these melons. And so I'm going to use an RE battery. Let's drop that into there. And what's going to happen, it's going to start macerating up these melons, and it's going to make what's called biochaff. This stuff right here. There's a lot of different things that you can use to make this. A lot of different things. You can also craft plant balls and 1-for-1, and you can make that stuff. So, but I'm going to use melons. Actually, since cyclic silk touches everything, you get the melon blocks. You get 9 melons per harvest. So it goes super far because it's only 8 melons per biochaff. Okay, so our biochaff is running, and then the next thing we're going to do is we are going to make ourselves a fluid canning machine. Let me dump some of this stuff off. Go. And I've actually got the stuff prepped here. It's nothing out of the ordinary to craft this, but the reason I didn't go ahead and craft it is because there is a quest for this. If you take a look right here, a fluid solid canning machine, and so we are going to right here, fluid solid canning machine. And let's craft that. And we should get a quest complete. There we go. And we're going to set this up right next to the macerator. And then before I continue, let me pop over here and let me grab our block cutting machine. Because if you recall, there's actually a quest for that we didn't do because we hadn't made the fluid solid canning machine. So we'll go ahead and snag that. I guess I have to actually turn in this quest first. Okay, I'm going to take the first loot chest. There we go. And then the block cutting machine, we'll give it just a second. There we go. Quest complete. Okay, now before I put this back, because remember this is a power tier 1, I'm going to clip off this cable right here, just temporarily. And then we can put our block cutting machine back down. Because we don't want it to explode before we get our transformer upgrade in there. And then we'll replace that. And that. Okay, and then we're going to, let's go ahead and pop our loot chest first. We got 8 lime jelly sandwiches. Awesome, because I'm hurting for food, you know. And then for our block cutting machine, another loot chest. And 8 chicken celery casseroles, which I've already ate before. Okay, well anyhow, this is doing pretty good on biochaff right now. I'm going to let it finish this 12th piece. There we go. And then let's just pop over here. I'm going to drop this in and let it start charging up, or let it charge up real quick. And then we'll take our battery and we're going to drop it in the fluid solid canning machine. We're going to set this to fluid enrich. And then what we're going to do is the macerator. Let's go ahead and add a ejector upgrade. This right here, which we've covered like the fluid ones before. I mean, the ejector is pretty much the same thing, but it does items. So we'll just go ahead and drop that into there. And there we go. It's going to pull out the biochaff and it's going to drop it right into there. And then what we're going to do is, let's see. Oh, you know what I need to make that I forgot? I forgot to make the fluid pulling upgrade. Let me make one of those really quick. What was that? Okay, 9 at a time. Okay, so there's our fluid pulling upgrade. We'll go ahead and snag that. And then I think what we're going to do is... Oh, you know what? Let me pop up here. And where this xnet cable is, go ahead and pull that up. And we're actually going to instead... We're going to bring this down and around like that. I do believe. And then we're going to set up one of those Pam's Harvest Crafts, or the Cooking for Blockhead sinks. We're going to set this up right there. And this is the south side. Let's go ahead and say the south side over here does not connect. And then over here, we're going to go ahead and say the north side doesn't connect. We don't want to connect to that sink. And then, oh, you know what? Let's take our fluid pulling upgrade. And let's just shift right click the back of our fluid solid canning machine. Automatically inputs from the west side. And then if we drop this right into there we go. It's going to start pulling water, but it can only pull water from that direction, which is where our sink is. So if we have fluid somewhere else, it's not going to try to connect to it and try to pull from it and all that mess. And that way it's specifically just getting the water. Okay, so it's going to start running. And it's going to start taking that biochaff and it's going to start making biomass. 1 bucket at a time. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to get ourselves a fermenter, which I've already prepped this. This thing is not terribly expensive. I mean, most of the stuff at this point, you know, we've kind of covered. until we get into like the tier 2 stuff, you know. And what we're going to do, let's see, we've got this connector right here. Let's put the fermenter setting right there. And then what we're going to do is, let me put this solar panel away, it's driving me insane. Let's grab our, which that's going to connect up, we're not going to use its connection just yet. But let's go ahead and grab this solid fuel firebox. This is just a temporary fix right now. And let's place this guy, let's see if I put it, okay, it's perfect. We're going to make sure the coils are touching. So we'll place it right there. And then I'm going to have to get some kind of solid fuel. I'm just going to go with coal. This is just going to be a very, very short temporary thing, and then we're not going to be using that anymore. Like literally just a few seconds. That's all we're going to use it for. And these are also really standard craft. The solid fuel firebox is what we're using right here. And what we're going to do, we need to produce some heat. So let's go ahead and toss in our coal and get that smelting up. And right over here, our fluid solid canning machine that we've got. Let's go ahead and grab this fluid ejector upgrade and put it into our fluid solid canning machine. Okay, so it's going to start ejecting its biomass over to the fermenter, and the fermenter is going to start running. It's going to start using that heat that it's getting from the solid fuel firebox. And it's going to take that biomass, and it's super efficient. Okay, you can see it used 10 millibuckets of biomass, produced 200 millibuckets of biogas. Okay, so you're getting 20 times what you put into it. As far as biogas generation. Okay, and just a heads up, the fluid ejector upgrade, I had to change this. Make sure shift right click to the north side. We want it facing off, only ejecting in this direction, because I discovered that like this wasn't building up on biomass. I was like, what's going on? And strangely enough, this can auto output to the sink from cooking for blockheads. So we can dump its biomass into the sink. So just make sure you're telling it to go to output to the fermenter directly and not just all over if you have it set up the same way. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and pull out the coal. We're done with that. We're done with the solid fuel firebox already. Didn't last very long, right? That does produce some ash. We don't need that either. We don't need the coal. We don't need the solid fuel firebox. We might use it again in the future for something, for some kind of temporary setup, or I don't know. But right now we don't need it. And then we're going to take the liquid fuel firebox. This is what I actually want. And you know what? I need to get another fluid ejector upgrade, actually. So give me just a second. Let me craft another one of these. Alright, so there's our fluid ejector. I should just be crafting these like 9 at a time, honestly, with how much I'm using the things. Okay, so we're going to put this down right here. And yeah, it's trying to run right now. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and take our fluid ejector upgrade. We're going to put this right into there, and it's going to eject its biogas into this. And the nice thing is, if you sit and watch it, it's actually going to produce more biogas than it's using. It's only using 30, yeah, about almost 40 millibuckets per operation. But then it's producing 200. And I mean, this stuff is free, and it goes so far. It really, really does, because melons are crazy cheap. Now, I do need to get batteries plugged up to that, but you can see with just the amount of biomass that we have, that is an absolute ton of biogas. It really is, and it doesn't cost us anything. I mean, it's completely free at this point. I mean, you know, just changing the biomass to biogas, because it's making its own heat right now. You can see right here, waste collection progress. Basically, after this bar fills up, it takes a little while. But once this bar does fill up, it's going to create fertilizer. Right here, from IC2. It is going to make a little bit of this each time that fills up. So we'll make sure and pull the items out of it. It's no biggie. See, that's steadily building up. By the way, the more heat you feed into this, the faster it will run. But honestly, I find that the liquid fuel firebox is perfect for it. Because you can literally set it and forget it, and you know, that's all there is to it. So, okay, so that's producing our biogas. And then what we're going to do is, let's see, I've got to figure out where I want to put these. I made a couple portable tanks from thermal expansion. These things are cheap, just some glass, copper, redstone servo. But it seems to be, they're probably, I'd say, about the best liquid storage that we have. And we're going to set these up. I don't know if I want to put them right over here, or maybe right in here. That would be kind of cool, right? Yeah, let's do that. So we're just going to bring our cables out. I'm going to have to go make some more cables real quick. Okay, but what I want to do is I want to bring a connector out right here. And we're going to take our portable tanks from thermal expansion. We're going to set these up right there, like that. And we are going to say, this is tanks. And then let's pop down. How's this doing on, this is filled on biogas at the moment. And I'm thinking that it should prioritize sending it to this before it sends it to the tanks. If that becomes an issue, I can just put a connector on the liquid fuel firebox and have it feed, feed the biogas from the tanks to the liquid fuel firebox if that becomes an issue. I'm going to see how it's going to prioritize things once it's up and running. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and say, like right here, these two tanks, we're going to make a channel here, and we're going to do like channel 8. Okay, so let's go ahead, and we're going to make channel 8 is going to be fluid. And then we're going to say these two tanks, we're going to create it, and we're going to say insert, and then create insert. And then let's find our, right here, our fermenter. Let's put it on channel 8, create, and we're going to say extract. And that's all we need to do on that. So let's pop back up to the IC2 area. Okay, it's pulled out all the biogas, and you can see there's 1,320 millibuckets of biogas there, and 1,140 millibuckets of biogas there. It's not like readily available, or not readily apparent that it's there. I can't make drums or anything right now, so I decided I'm going to go with these because they can store 32 buckets each, which isn't too bad. Okay, is it? Yeah, it's keeping that field at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so it is still prioritizing the firebox. It's prioritizing its ejector upgrade before it's allowing conduits, to pull out from it, which is what I want to see. That's perfect. That is awesome. Okay, so now that that's set up, now that we have this connected up, and we have these connectors here, let's go ahead and pop back down to the controller, and let's set up another line. We're going to say 7 is going to be fluid as well. And from these tanks, we are going to extract and extract. Okay, and then what we're going to do is I need to, let's pop back up here. And let me go ahead and actually just fill that in. There we go. And I need to make another connector, another batch of connectors. Okay, so there's a couple more connectors. There's 4 of them. And what we're going to do is, let's see. I'll tell you what, the first thing I want to do is I want to make another, this stuff we're going to get into later. I don't know if it'll be this episode or not. Oh, and by the way, I did set up our controllers. So one's right there, and one is over there. And they govern, I do have, like frame trim runs up along through here. On each side and connects over to the other side, so everything's plugged up with drawer controllers. So, and also really quick, I don't know if I mentioned it when we were down here, but this over here, this harvester setup, basically this area to that area is a 15 by 15, so the melons are actually planted right outside of the 15 by 15. So this is actually a 17 by 17. Let me actually see. Oh, let me make an electric motor. Or wait. 2 coils and an electric motor. And I want to go ahead and make fluid ejector upgrades. I want to make 9 of them. And you could do this for all of these, like ejector and pulling upgrades and stuff. You can make 9 at a time, and it'll make it a little bit cheaper on you. But still going to cost the same amount of like 10, but I don't have to make so many electric motors. And then I want to do generator. We're going to need to make an RE battery. There's our 10 cable. Let's go ahead and get one of these. I'm going to be making a bunch of these like here soon. It's going to be great. Alright, so there's our generator. And then I want to upgrade this because what we're going to be going for is the semi-fluid generator. which requires 4 universal fluid cells, some iron item casings, and a geothermal generator, which of course requires this stuff. So I'm going to need to make... do I have any iron item casings? I've got a few. Let me grab those, and let me go ahead and dump in... Yeah, let me go ahead and dump in these iron plates to get broken down. Let me go grab 4 pieces of glass real quick. Okay, and I want to make this generator into a geothermal. And then I want to turn that geothermal then into... Okay, I'm going to need 4 more iron item casings. There we go. I want to turn that into a semi-fluid generator, which is going to complete a quest. There we go. And if we take a look here, let's get the first loot chest. Claim. And what did we get? 4 auxiliary transmission coils. It's not too bad. It's for dynamos. It'll be once we hit thermal expansion. So I can't really use it at the moment, but it will come in handy later. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's go ahead. We're going to set this up, and we're going to set it up right over here. And this one is, all it's going to do is it's going to power the macerator, the fluid solid canning machine, and that's it. It's just going to power those 2 things. And let's go ahead and set ourselves up a connector right there. Semi-fluid generator right there. And then let's pop down to the controller. And right here is our semi-fluid generator. We're going to set it on channel 7, create, and it's going to be inserted. So, simple as that. If we pop back up here, there we go, it's producing power. Now, these things do produce a little bit less power than what the geothermal generators produce. These produce 16 EU per tick. The geothermals produce 20. However, lava, we have to keep moving the pump. Semi-fluid, we don't have to move any pumps. You know, we're good to go as is. And so what we're going to do is, let's go ahead. Let's see, I'm going to need 1, 2, 3 insulated copper cables. So, and we're going to be getting into facades soon, because we're going to be getting into ore processing. I'll talk about that here in just a minute, but we're going to go ahead and just run this. We're going to go down and then over. So that's going to feed power over to the macerator and the fluid. Well, technically it being right here will feed power to the macerator, but it's also going to feed power to the fluid solid canning machine. So that's going to start running. Now I'm not going to worry about speeding these up because this stuff is so efficient. You know, since it takes that biomass and it makes, you know, for 10 millibuckets it makes 200 millibuckets of biogas. And the biogas, it doesn't get consumed really fast in the semi-fluid generators. I mean, if you watch it, it'll go down here in just a second. There we go. You know, that's 10 millibuckets whenever it shifts. So, and if we take a look over here, we have about 7 buckets of biogas in there and almost 10 buckets of biogas there. So I think we're okay on biogas. And you can see right here, this is producing a little bit of fertilizer. So what we're going to do with that, let's just pop down to the controller. And I'm going to store this right down here because this is kind of like where stuff's getting stored at the moment. We're going to put it in this one that has 104 stacks. So fertilizer goes in there, and that's basically just like a bone meal is what it is. The IC2 equivalent of bone meal. And then what we're going to do is right over here on channel 1, let's see, the fermenter right here, we're going to say on channel 1, you're going to extract. Okay, so now if we go and we take a look at our fertilizer, we had 2 in there, now we have 5. Okay, so the fertilizer is automatically going to get output to our frame drawer network over here. And there we go, that's taken care of. And it'll void it if it goes over 104 stacks. So it's just basically free bone meal that we're getting in at this point. I mean, this whole system is pretty much free. You know, like, there's no overhead, like, whatsoever with all of this. Okay, so now that that's set up, and you can see this has stopped running. I mean, the macerator uses 2 EU per tick. Fluid solid canning machine uses 1 EU per tick. So it's very, very minute power consumption. And then this thing produces 16. So, I mean, we can throw some overclockers, but there's not really a whole lot of point because, you know, this is, I mean, look at that. Biomass is, like, backed up. And then biomass is going to start backing up in here, and then biochaff's going to back up, and then this is going to back up, and then it's just going to be hanging out. So, okay, so now what we need to do is I need to pop back here, and I need to run a set of xnet cables over. Okay, and I am going to have to do just a little bit of rearranging here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up like this block right here. We'll put copper cable right there, and then I'm going to pull up this copper cable. And I'm going to put it setting... I'm actually going to pull up this copper cable as well. And I'll tell you what, this... that's all going to get moved. So I'm just going to... I'm going to move that in just a second. Because we're going to be automating that like next episode. Like fully automating it. So we're just going to do like this. Okay, so it kind of just wraps around there. And then right here, let's go ahead and put a connector down on that ender tank. And we're not actually going to have it plugged up to that ender tank. We're going to be moving that ender tank as well. So, lots of moving. Lots of moving and getting rid of things. So, and let's go ahead and just run our xnet cables back. I've got like just enough cables, so there we go. That's ran over. And then let me go ahead right over here. Let's see, can I use carry-on for the electric heater? I cannot. Okay. Okay, so let's pull up this ender tank. We don't need this anymore. And we'll just set it down like right there for right now. I'll probably set it up to some kind of liquid storage, maybe like a fluid tank or, you know, something. We'll still use lava pumping, but just not so much. And then what we're going to do, we're going to make ourselves a fluid, what's it called? Fluid distributor. This right here requires 3 universal fluid cells, 5 fluid ejector upgrades, and a basic machine casing, which I've got that. I've got the fluid ejectors, and I'm going to need the universal fluid cells. Okay, so there's our fluid distributor, and I'm gonna have to get back there, aren't I? Well, actually, no, I guess I won't, because I can set it opposite side. That'll work. And then we're going to need to upgrade our geothermal generators into semi-fluid generators. So 4 more universal fluid cells and the iron item casings. We've got... Okay, I'm going to need more iron item casings. I'm going to need a lot more tin item casings. Oh, I've got iron right there. That's actually enough of those. Let's get those tin plates going. Okay, I've got some more tin running. Let's go ahead and pull up these geothermal generators. They've still got lava in them. That's fine. We're going to waste it. I don't mind. And then let's get our semi-fluid generators. I need these. There we go. So there's 3 of those at the moment. And we're going to set these up just there, there, and there. Okay, so those are set up. Now, technically right here, you could just bring the connector out and have the connector feed to all 4 of these. However, I think it would look cooler if we had the fluid distributor. I mean, I'm literally just using this because it looks cool. If we set that right there, and okay, it just took a second. The blue side is input, and then it's going to have green sides that are output. So we're going to shift right click, and it's going to set it to the opposite side. So where the connector is now where the input for the fluid distributor is. And we're gonna leave that to distribute. This isn't a tank. This is a tank that's like an internal tank. I think it stores like I don't know, 10. No, it's not 10,000, is it? I want to say it's like 10,000 or something millibuckets. It may not be that high. I'm not for sure. I don't remember. I don't remember off the top of my head, to be perfectly honest. But let's go ahead and warp down to the controller, and right over here, let's see, our tanks are extracting on channel 7, and so we are going to put our fluid distributor, we're going to say channel 7, create, it's going to insert, and that's done. Okay, so we'll warp back up, and by the way, on these, you can filter the fluids if you want. You can also do the rates, the maximum, so you can have like a limited amount, which we'll be using. I mean, there's a lot of different features within XNet that we're going to be using as we progress through the series. So, and how are we doing over here? It has drained all the biogas out of there. I kind of figured that because we've got 3 semi-fluid generators, each with a capacity of 10,000, plus this has a capacity, okay, of 1,000. But it's filled up all 3 of these. So all three of these have 10,000 in them. And you can see power's already capped on each of these. So, let's see, how is this doing? Okay, I'm going to toss a bunch of 10 in there and get that running so that I can upgrade this last geothermal, which we're not going to be using anymore. And then we'll no longer have any lava-based power. We will have, literally all of our power will be based off of melons right now. Off of watermelons. With absolutely no overhead. So, that's going to be great. And this is kicking away. Macerator's got plenty of melons. This is doing biochaff. Great. And that's staying capped. That's beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. And we have enough biogas in here to fill up our other semi-fluid generator. So, and let's pop down to the controller. I want to see how many melons we have. So, we have currently about 3.5 stacks of melons. It really doesn't take much because we're going to be using this power quite a few places until we upgrade power again. And, I mean, it's more than enough. Okay, so there we go. We have 4 semi-fluid generators. This thing's already capped on power. It's super quick. Now, like I said, these are a little bit less power production than the geothermal by 4 EU. I don't really think that 4 EU is a life-changing difference considering I never have to move that IC2 pump again. We're done with lava-based power. I feel like lava-based power is like the beginning of the game kind of power. Now we're moving into actually like pretty decent power. Not as much EU per tick, but a lot more efficient and a whole lot better. Plus I don't have to like tear up the nether. But I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so we're not going to be able to get into the next projects that we're going to be doing, but next episode we're going to get back into a bit more IC2. And what we're going to be doing next episode, I will say that we're going to finish a few quests. We're going to finish this quest, we're going to finish the thermal centrifuge, the mining laser stuff. But we are going to be doing 2 different things next episode. We are going to swiftly automate the blast furnace. And then I'm probably going to do a semi-fluid, or a liquid fuel firebox for it. Because the liquid fuel firebox is a whole lot more efficient than the electric firebox. So actually probably the solid fuel box and the electric heater will probably never use these again. Which actually means these coils, I can just dump these back into here and use them for a motor at some point. We're going to do that, and then we're going to do a fully automated ore processing system. At long last. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys then.